Shit. Where am I? Who am I? Oh yeah, I recognize this. Welcome to Artisarium. My name is Eleanor.
And I'm Robin.
And in this 3-part series, we're going to show you how we made our Cyberpunk 2077 character costume. This is part 2, where we make these awesome pants with matching knee pads. Yeah, so first up we need to take some measurements. Make sure to start off with the most uncomfortable part to set the mood.
You got that? Cool.
For drawing patterns, I always use a template to start off with. Then I change the measurements so it fits my clients.
Which is me.
Rush. It's important to get this right. You better not have slept through math class. What the? Seriously? Enough with cat. Time to make the printed pattern. Starting with sketching up the motif to get the size right. Then, on to making a printing block. For this, we suggest you click on this link to follow our tutorial how to easily make one yourself. Now here's our materials to make this dream come true. Let's print. After studying the game character, we chose a linen fabric for the green parts. Place out the pattern pieces, draw around the edges, and cut them out with your desired seam allowance. Perfect. We chose a textile paint in antique gold. This part is also covered in our printing block tutorial.
You should totally go and check that out.
Sometimes you need to fill in the blanks. This is going to look super. Ta-da! Important part. Setting the textile paint with heat. I use the awesomely handy timer on my phone so I don't have to use my brain. Full on send mode for 5 minutes. Yep. There it is.
Alright, what now?
Aha! Purple, super shiny, big-ass logo on the leg top.
Alright.
First off, we need to attach a double-sided sheet of glue to the backside of our sparkly fabric. We do this with heat. Robin, your turn.
Alright, well, I took a screenshot from the game of the logo on the leg and then I put it into Photoshop and resized it and made it black and white so it's easier to cut out. And then I cut it out. Well, there you go.
And now we place the logo on... Wait, no. Wrong. Mirrored. There we go.
Nice save.
Tracing the edges with a regular pencil. For cutting, I used a rotary cutter and the X-Acto knife.
Oh, shiny.
Yeah. This heat-pressable glue is just like double-sided tape. It's fucking awesome. Time for waistband. I always put some interfacing in these parts to make it more sturdy. Time for some overlock stitching on all the edges for durability. Sew the pieces together. I want to finish the waistband to have a fitting with Robin before I attach it to the pants. Trimming some edges. Pressing some edges. And some steam. Olay! Alright, cutie pie, come over here.
Alright.
Looks good. And now we can attach it to the pants. Sewing. Time for the belt. Same here, choosing a linen fabric that we reinforce with some interfacing. This machine is awesome. Now sewing it together right sides facing.
Meow.
And now for the fun part. Turning it inside out. Woo-hoo. Finishing up with some stitching. And then put it in the pant. Hell yeah! And hooks and eyes for closure.
For the lower parts of the pants, we needed something that we could easily make patterns into. And since we already had a lot of leather in our stash, we chose to use that.
To make this pattern, I found this button-making thingy that had the right size. But first, I need to make some guiding lines. The harder the table, the better you bet. Now we want to soak the leather so our homemade punch leaves the right amount of print. This we cover in another tutorial where I made an elephant mask. Go ahead and watch that too. Look how fast I am. I know, I'm a natural. Time for some gold paint again. But first, I will put a layer of dark brown antique finish to create some depth to the punched pattern. Then, I dry brush the gold over it with a hogged hair brush. This is an awesome technique. I like awesome. Now for some clean cutting of the edges. And here are the ankle parts. They're flat. I like flat. Forcing the seam allowances down with a small hammer and some textile glue is my pro tip from me to you. I told you I like flat. Using a regular sewing machine works perfectly fine when sewing in softer leather. Just make sure you switch the needle to a thicker one. But sometimes it's wiser to turn the hand wheel. There you go! A sassy wooden block for times when you can't lay it flat. Thinning down the leather with a knife if you want to make a nice neat fold. And then for some textile glue and the hammer. Flat, flat, flat. And here we go! I'm thinking about my man's comfort, so I want to put some lining in these legs.
Well, thank you.
We're getting there. Velcro for faster solutions. Oh my god, several hundred years later and they're done!
All right!
Now time for Robin to make some knee pads.
All right, thank you very much. Here we go. I'm gonna do some knee pads and I'm gonna do them out of foam. But first, I need to measure my knees so I don't make them too small or too big. That would be awkward. I'm using this sport mat. It's a really good high density foam and really cheap also. Then I pick up the Dremel, work as close as possible to the tip of a vacuum cleaner, and I Dremel it down to shape. When that's done, I heat it up with a heat gun so I can form it the way I want. Just be careful to heat it up too much. This thing is really hot right now. To get the right texture on the front of the knee pads, I use some burlap fabric and I glue it on with spray adhesive. Bending it over the edge, you need to cut up the edge a little bit so it doesn't wrinkle when you glue it down. And then I glue the front parts onto the back parts. And the good thing about this sport mat that I chose to use is that it already had the pattern I was looking for on one of its sides. Really nice. Burning off rugged surface. And now it's time for painting. And since these are gonna be really flexible, I also need a really flexible paint. So I use this rubber spray paint as a base. And now the front part is gonna be purple. So I mask off the back part, and then I airbrush a thin layer of natural gray. And on top of that, a thin layer of purple. Since this is not a flexible paint, if you make it too thick, it will crack when you bend it. And the last thing, some weathering. For the straps, I needed some buckles, so I 3D modeled them and I printed them out. To make the knee pads stay comfortably on my knees, I use some elastic bands as straps. But they're gonna be brown, so first I needed to spray them natural gray, so I could then spray them brown. And the buckles are the same purple as the front part. And then I clear coated the buckles so the color don't wear off. Then I sew them onto the straps. I'll use rivets to fasten the straps to the knee pads, but to make sure they don't rip through the foam, I made some rubber plates that will go on the backside. Just tidying up the backside a little bit with hot glue, and they're done!
Here we are, fellas.
And to that's
Finally finished.
finito.
Yep, you guessed it. Final episode. The jacket. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.